Easy, right?
No. Yep.
The world is watching. They're going to change the world. These birds are going to change the world for the better.
They have. Right?
They have trauma and this pain. This is there's no coming back from this. So there's no coming back. They're going to change the world. They're going to change the world. These empty pens, they're going to change the world. I have full faith in it. We have faith in it. They're going to change the world. They're going to change the world.
You too.
You don't cause pain like this and then it goes unnoticed. The world is watching and the world's going to continue to watch. This is going to change the world. The world's going to help. You know what changes the world? Animals. Animals, because they're voiceless. And one thing both the right and the left can agree upon is that no animal should have been barbarically gunned down in the middle of the night. This will change the world. This isn't a political issue. This is a humanity issue. This is if people have a conscience. Does government have a conscience anymore? That's what this is. And that's what's going to change the world here. It's been the 6 worst days of our life. As many of the public's life, this has been 6 of the worst days of Canada's life and many across the world. And in unity, and hope, faith, and strength, we're going to pull ourselves through this. We're not going to do it alone. We're going to do it together. We're going to change the world. Our family is broken. There's no coming back. There was a better way to do this. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, you exposed yourself. You exposed yourself. The belly of the beast was shown. That ego overruled science, overruled life, overruled hope, overruled the voice of Canadians and everybody on an international level. You exposed yourself. You exposed your inhumane actions, that you are about pain and that you are about killing and that you're about punishment. Fences just came down, the theatrical display of punishment for using your voice as a Canadian to stand up and rise up and create change and hope for our farmers, our future, our children, and our grandchildren. You just displayed the biggest theatrical display of punishment versus hope versus justice, and that will prevail. These blue fences and all of your actions, you just exposed yourself. You exposed your own names. You exposed your own faces. And we're going to be proud, and we're going to hold our faces high and our heads high. And we're going to help change the world. Universal Ostrich Farms is going to continue. We don't know how yet. But Universal Ostrich, the name will always be known in Canadian history. Because this was a murder, a mass murder. You involved all of our supporters from around the world that had to witness that behind screens and in person. You trapped them on the highways to listen to rapid gunfire for hours, and then we came back to continue in the morning. This is where we rise up, Canada, rise up. I've been saying that for months. It's just really sad that it had to end with the ostriches' heartbeats stopped, their bodies like they were meaningless, sitting in bins at Super Save. And all of the threat of some virus that you guys created, virus that you didn't have to follow your own protocols, you didn't have to follow your own policy, you spread the diseased hay around our fields with migratory birds landing in it, the waters that are running, it's your fault. It's your fault. You are the virus. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is the virus. And that is what we need to address here.
Fact.
How do we heal the virus? We have to come together. We create change. We create a new system, a new face, and a new hope. One that protects, preserves, that heals and treats, not destroys and punishes and kills. Canadian Food Inspection Agency has become a killing machine. And that is all they're good at, is killing. Who brings a young child to work? Courtney Fotheringham, who drove out of here with you? A young child. Who brings somebody young to see this? Is this the next generation of killers? This is so unfair and unfathomable what you've done to our family. The pain, this pain will never go away. The gunshots, the PTSD of listening to that, not wanting to leave our house because only the four walls of our house feel safe. We come down here to look at these empty pens that were full of life, decades of life and resiliency and antibodies that could change the world, to protect and heal, and you destroyed it. In one night, in the middle of the night, the pouring rain, by hired marksmen, you destroyed it. You destroyed hope for humanity. You destroyed hope for people all across the world. They were beacons of hope, these ostriches, and they're gonna live on as being soldiers. The soldiers that take us into a new way. And you took my mom's and our family's identity November 6th. Identity. You stripped us of our identity, of our love, of everything that we've ever known to care for. It was 35 years when my mom walked out of her house every day. She put on her overalls. She came out. She named her birds. She called them by name. She treated them. She stapled them up if they ever had a wound. She learned all of her own care. She learned from the best vets across the world at Dornball, different vets. She became her own vet. She became her own warrior. And all she said years ago to us as kids, these animals are going to do something for humanity, amazing for humanity one day. We had no idea what that meant. And now we sit here in the pouring rain, in the cold, and we sit here and we remember November 6th, 2025, because these ostriches woke up the world. And that is what, we all would have loved these animals to be still right here, right now. But Canadian Food Inspection Agency, you exposed yourself. And there's a lot of pain here. Pain that will never go away.
It's the end of one horrific chapter, maybe, but it's just the beginning of another chapter. And that is a chapter of justice and accountability, and showing the world what's happened here.
They waged war
against farmers, right?
Against farmers, against your land rights, seizing property of your neighbors to get access. They can just, with a simple stroke of a pen, just expand their territory. They have tried to criminally charge us on top of this for feeding our animals when we have a September 22nd email signed by you, Courtney, actually telling us that you want us to continue to feed and water the animals. And we stayed in there to continue to do that because we didn't trust you that if we came out, you'd allow us to go back in. And then you arrested us for doing exactly what you asked us to do. And this is a new war. And I like the sentiment that, this is no war. This is a war not with weapons, but they have just waged a new war, and that's of accountability. And this is an organization and an agency that has lost all trust in not just Canadians, but people from all across the world. There's no more trust. When you don't have trust, they've eroded the trust. What do you have? There is an agency that is supposed to protect and supposed to protect us. So we're supposed to call in when there's a reportable thought of a virus, right? Who in their right mind would call in if they thought that they had something to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency after this? So you know what you've done? You've put humanity and Canadians more at risk than ever, because nobody will ever want to call you again and say that, hey, I might have something here. So what happens if somebody actually has something worth reporting and there is a virulent threat? That now you've put Canadians more at risk than ever for your actions, because you are killers. You are a killing machine. You have no outbreak response. You don't know how to follow your own protocol. You don't know how to follow your own code of conduct. Everything is a lie. You say you use science, you wouldn't look at ours. You say that we're always evolving with veterinarian care and looking at new veterinarian oversight. That's a lie. You were at our property from February 26th. No check-ins. We were the most virulent threat of avian influenza in Canada, supposedly. No check-ins, no water samples, no soil samples, no testing of the ostriches. No, nothing. Over 6 months. But when you showed up was to come in backed up by your 50 police cars, your SWAT team, your K9 units, your drone units, everything. What were you protecting? What were you really protecting? You don't spend millions of dollars to protect animals to kill them. Let's ask a real question, Canada. What were they really protecting? What were they doing at the back of our farm? It's in our assumption we're missing animals. Where are those animals? I'll tell you right now, whatever new cures come up, we're all going to be on the radar. for what new possible cures with antibodies arise. We all better be on the radar to watch for that, because I'm going to promise you the biggest cures and the best hope naturally came from this farm.
Yeah.
So we'd like to know where that is. And again, it's accountability. It's a war of accountability. And
that's the right angle, I think, too, right? Accountability, like can't move on from any of this. No one could ever move on or trust in anything again if there's no accountability. I mean, it's impossible to move on.
The pens that echoed in the night, we'll never ever hear the booming, beautiful, big, majestic booming of our 30-year-old roosters, 35-year-old roosters that's gone forever. This valley, they echoed through the valley. They're flapping of their wings and they're dancing in the sunshine. This valley is changed forever. This road is changed forever. This property is changed forever. Our lives are changed forever. It's gone. You shot down and gunned down these animals, chirping over one another in fear and in trauma, scared for their lives, because our family, especially my mom, taught them to trust humans. What a mistake. We taught these animals to trust humans. And that is not seen. Her walking around 400 ostriches, walking. They all knew her. Peter was her protector. They knew her. She would yell at them like get kid, and they'd get in trouble. And then she'd have her protectors, and we had her Greta that just loved to curiously peck like with a vengeance. We had Carolyn, which she really pecked hard too. They all had this curious nature. We had Colin, who was half blind, Trevor, Barney, Big Bear, Scotty, Annabelle. Just weeks ago, this farm had the most beautiful energy, and you took that away from us. You took that away from Canadians, and you took that away from the world. And you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I think also worth noting is, it's so tragic, and all these birds have personalities and names, and you knew them. But there's also an incredible human cost here as well. And I saw the reaction from the family. I heard Allie scream out in terror from the field as the gunshots were going off.
I was trapped on Langell Road that night. I was holding on to that fencing, screaming. I didn't know what that gunfire would sound like, and I was holding my ears. I couldn't listen. And you know who I had parked behind me? I had an RCMP officer in a car parked behind me while I laid there, getting consoled by Brock, and held because I was waiting for a breakaway to the gunfire to stop so I could get home. RCMP never notified anybody that was going to stop or start. The gunfire was going to start. They never notified the supporters. They locked them and trapped them up on the highway as punishment that they were going to have to listen to these animals get killed. They punished our family, and that we had to listen to it. They didn't warn us and say, maybe you'd like to go in your house as a family, because all of your animals of 35 years and everything you've ever loved is going to be gunned down right now. Maybe you'd want to go in and pray. Maybe you'd want to go in and turn on your TV. No, it was entrapment. They trapped us outside to listen to one of the most horrific nights of our life as punishment. More punishment for using your voice, more punishment for standing up to do the right thing for our farmers across Canada, more punishment to defend our children and our grandchildren's future. Punishment. And if that's what Canada's become, we use our RCMP and our agencies like this to punish. There's no protection.
Be spiteful.
Punishment. And that, you know what? Don't take this lightly. Everybody rise up. You use your voices louder than ever right now, because you know what they're scared of? They're scared of us using our voices. They're scared of us standing for what's right. And they're scared. You know what they're really scared of? Live longer. Be healthier. That scares the hell out of them. And that's what they don't want. They don't want a real cure. They don't want therapeutics, and they don't want anything prehistoric that has survived on this earth for millions of years due to the robust immune system. That's a threat. That is a threat. You're a threat. I'm a threat, because the government isn't anything without its people, and we need to be reminded of that. That we make the government, and we are the leaders. The real leaders, they failed during this. No one stepped up, and I think it's time we look for new leadership. We really look to somebody who, I'm so proud of every one of you, all of our supporters. We handled this with faith over fear, unity over division. We handled this with calmness. We didn't race the fences. Even with the worst sounds of our life that we had to listen to that night, we held our composure, and it will pay off. As much as they want to mark us as extremists or whatever they want to say we are, we know better. And I'm so proud of every one of you around the world that is not going to let this go until true change is made. And that's what we have the opportunity here to do. But this, you just look at this. This weather is perfect. This weather explains it all. And these pens that were filled are, there's no coming back from this. So.
Did you see the video of the dozens of birds that were landing in the kill pen when the birds, the ostriches were still laying there?
Yeah, so again, I want to point out something wrong. I mean, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, you let those carcasses lay there for 24 hours with your amazing tarp job that you did, that anything could have scavenged on those animals at night. Anything. Mice, rats, birds. So again, just pointing out, we're going to be having all of this documented. There's no virulent threat here, and there was never a virus. This was about ego and punishment. This is no virus. And that will be exposed. That'll come out. We don't even have to fight for that. It's out. It's out. We don't even have to, you know, the world is going to take this fight on. If you think that it was just Universal Ostrich Farms, and you're in for a rude awakening.
You mentioned
You got it. That's right.
Nice
court date. When is this court date you might have? They're trying to charge you.
We have a 19th fingerprinting in the cusp, British Columbia. 20th, we do have to appear to see if we're on the docket. We're not right now, as of yet. For our criminal charges, they're trying to charge us with Section 35, Paragraph 2 of the Animal Health Act. Doesn't that kind of sound a little ironic? The Animal Health Act.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe we need a new one.
So
Yeah.
So they're trying to charge two little ladies with buckets of grain while there's over 200 members here with weapons. They're trying to charge you with impeding.
Yeah, we impeded. We didn't block a fence. We didn't barricade anything, and we held our composure.
Yeah.
All we wanted to do, and we said, was feed the animals to maintain a routine, maintain some sort of consistency in their life as the world was about to be turned upside down.
And you were confronted with a task force with semi-automatic weapons, and you somehow.
No, we weren't confronted. No,
You weren't
we, no,
confronted
not
with
with.
the task
No, we weren't confronted with it. We were threatened that if we didn't.
How many officers were you confronted by?
I think there was probably 8.
8. That sounds like a task force.
Oh no, but
It's enough.
there was 4 vehicles that came flying up behind us. And you know what my mom said while she was handcuffed? Please just let me finish my chores. Please just let me finish feeding my animals. Please. And you know what they did that day? They left that truck parked right in the middle, right where it is still today. And you know what they did? They didn't finish feeding our animals. So our animals went without that day. The next day, we had to get on a megaphone and yell at them to please feed the animals while they dumped little bits of food on right in front of their food buckets. They dumped it on the ground.
And ostriches don't eat off the ground.
Ostriches, they peck off the ground. They don't eat their grain off the ground. No, especially when there's their black bowls right in front of them.
That's why their food was so bad in the end, because they didn't feed them
And
properly
they
for a
weren't
month.
watering them. And in my opinion, it would be like, why were they dehydrating them so that there would be less bodily fluids after? And that would make
And not
sense.
feeding them means they wouldn't fight so hard to rally up, right?
Yeah.
They had a plan.
They
from
were
the beginning.
weak, and we watched that for a month. Over a month, we watched our animals get weaker, get more sick, lethargic, like just, they were not themselves, their backs were caving in, they were tired.
But if you didn't eat for a month, you wouldn't be able to really talk or walk either.
Would you? No, this is just begun. This has just given us more time than ever. And that's all you've given our family is more time. And it's not, this is just a beginning of something really good for Canada. Something is so positive that every one of us needs right now, and this is just the beginning. And it's all because of all of you that are standing right behind the cameras. It's all because of you guys that has led the charge with us and around the world, that has allowed us to have 11 more months with these animals to show the world that they were survivors, and that those survivors should have been hailed heroes, and they should have been kept for their resiliency and their antibodies, because natural immunity exists. And that's what we have to remember here, is natural immunity exists. So while they try to portray that there's no herd immunity, no natural immunity, and antibodies aren't real, please be very, very aware that that is probably the most dangerous precedent that could have ever been made out of this, trying to teach us as Canadians and people across the world that natural immunity doesn't exist. So.
On a final note, today is hard. I think tomorrow there's going to be a small vigil.
Tomorrow there's going to be a vigil, yeah. So there's going to be a vigil. We're asking, even if you can't make it out to the farm tomorrow, in any major city or town, if you want to go light some candles in memory of these animals who suffered the most horrendous, tragic, and barbaric death by cowards, can you please go honor their lives? And every one of us who had to listen to that, go honor each other and hold each other and give each other a hug and be reminded how short life is. And and let's stand up for our freedoms, our voices. But in any city, town, but if you can make it to 301 Langell Road, Edgewood, British Columbia, come and stand with our family and our supporters that are still here hanging on with us. And the pens are going to be hard to see. I'm going to tell you that right now. Be ready to feel the emptiness. Be ready to be shocked.
Is there a particular time?
No, you know what? All day. If anybody wants to organize that, their town or cities, I think people were trying to do 11 to 1, but
Pacific
11 to
time.
1 Pacific time.
And we'll get live streams going, and we'll figure out what to do.
Yeah, 11 to 1 is a great time, and then here will be all day. Every day since they've been gone has been a vigil.
I guess November 22nd, there's a lot of talk about a farmer support convoy that's going to be honoring the ostriches.
Yeah, there is. I don't know much about it, so I think you can just go online.
I think it's Colossus in Langley and then the different locations throughout Canada.
But our main focus will be the vigil tomorrow, and then we'll look into the farmer support convoy for hope for Canadian farmers and people, all of our families across Canada. So Mike, thank you for your dedication and love to this family, and you have been an inspiration for everything you've battled and seen and what you've gone through, and you had witnessed one of the most barbaric things where war got brought out to a family and a farm that you stood on. And how ironic, after everything you've seen and you've been through, to support and fight for our country. Yeah, I just
and to see it here in Canada, right?
to see it here,
And
when
to
it
see
could
it
be
happen to a
stopped.
farmer,
And it could
right?
have been stopped.
Yeah.
It could have been stopped.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have to do
And it
it.
was only ego and spitefulness.
Yeah. Remember, not one of these ostriches that were slayed by gunfire were tested. Not one ostrich was tested. So just remember that at the closing tonight. Not one ostrich was tested. So please pray.
I don't know if you can comment on it or not, but you've been talking to other lawyers pursue lawsuits.
Yeah, if anybody in Canada or around the world, I know that there's going to be a lot of you that were really affected, if you were affected like our family from that night and what you witnessed, heard. If anybody wants to send in their documentation, or go see a doctor, I do really encourage you to go get help, because I'm going to need it. I know my mom's going to need it. And go get help. It's okay. But please send in your notification or your documentation, because this shouldn't go unnoticed. And there is help for you, and we're going to try and see that help. That Canadian Food Inspection Agency and the Canadian government is brought aware of the pain that they caused. So please send in that documentation and reach out to us by sadsaveourostriches@gmail.com. But we need to hold the government accountable for what everybody had to go through.
Was there a lawyer specifically that asked for these?
We're working with a couple, but yes, but I don't have that information yet right now. God bless every one of you.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Love you guys. Really? Thanks. So, we just take a walk along the pens now. Even one of the shooters brought his dog, right, into the pen. Neither of them been in any PPE, right? What do you think, Phoenix? It's gonna be weird now, right? This whole time, the 7 weeks we've been here, you know, for the 7 weeks they had the blue fence here, but before there was, when we were here in July, there was no blue fence. You know, I don't know how RCMP members wore their uniform on Remembrance Day, knowing what they took part here in Edgewood, right? What they took part here at this farm was animal cruelty, and every single RCMP officer should be charged with animal cruelty because they were guarding it so that it could happen, right? What happened to, right, if it's not a lawful command, right? The days of good men stepping up against evil is obviously over. As a whole field full of RCMP let it happen, right? As a whole field of RCMP watched and listened with everybody else to the shooting all night, right? Sorry. Somebody's bugging me. Right, Phoenix? Right? All of this now. The RCMP sat here and laughed. They sat there and said, you should all be fucking arrested, right? When in reality, it was them and the CFIA that should be arrested, right? End gang life. Join the RCMP. They're a gang. They don't give a fuck to follow rules, right? Rules don't apply to the RCMP or the CFIA, right? But rules apply to the people, right? Rules are only applied to the people paying the taxes, right? Well, I shouldn't say people paying the taxes because, you know, the RCMP, they pay taxes too, right? So, you know, that's it, right? And over there is where the slaughter happened, right? And that's what they did. And the RCMP are the ones that help facilitate it, right? The RCMP should all be charged for animal cruelty, and I hope that happens, right? How much more evidence do you need, right? A bunch of cowards that hide behind their guns and their badge, right? They can't even Phoenix. So, anyways, I'm trying to flip my phone around. So, we'll be here tomorrow for the vigil at the farm. And we might go up for some pictures. So, do that, and we'll be here for the vigil and see what's going on. I have to sort out my truck. I have to go back and sort out my rental car for Saturday back to Calgary. So I'm running back to Calgary for Saturday, Sunday night probably, and then come back to the farm and go to the courthouse with the family on the 20th, and maybe when they go for their fingerprinting. All right. So still a few vehicles and supporters here. Right, good to see. And things are going to start to change, I think. And the ostriches did not die in vain, because they're going to bring about change, right? So, Phoenix. Ted's car. Sorry, not Tom, sorry. So for 7 weeks, really, they lived here with a police presence parked there the whole time, right? All that time. And they finally left today, right? As they would sit there in their cars and just ignore people, not answer, not do anything. They were only here for one thing, to be bullies for the CFIA.
He's still gonna do.
Shelley's fire pit. Alright, so we'll let you go for now, and we'll do a couple lives tomorrow. Probably go up, if it's not foggy or cloudy tomorrow, probably go up the mountain. They weren't my headlights that I was using. So, hey Crystal, happy birthday, love yous. So, we'll go over here, see what's going on. Somebody's making chili, I think, for supper. So we got that to look forward to, and go from there. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Love you all, and we'll be live tomorrow, 11 to 1 or sometime in that time zone. Alrighty, love you all. Take care. Stay safe. Bye bye. Wait for the slow connection to. Hold on, sorry.